Should we be concerned when our favorite game companies start making product for 5th edition D&D? A few of the better known tabletop RPG publishers have recently announced that they're making a 5e compatible version of their products. Cubicle 7 made an announcement a few weeks back that they were going to be making a version of their Doctor Who game using the D&D 5th edition mechanics. Paizo also has announced that they will be releasing a version of the Abominable Vaults adventure path for 5e. The responses to these two events has been mixed. Fans are not happy about this at all. Some of them. Some of the very vocal fans are not happy about this. Many fans seem to understand that these are going to be potentially good income producers for the prospective companies. But a lot of fans are not happy about it, and some fans are just concerned. And what are those concerns? The company's going to stop making the game or the products that the established fan base like and play. So there's concern, particularly from Paizo fans, that Paizo may decide to stop making Pathfinder and simply make 5e adventure paths. There's also a concern that this move will water down some of the product lines. Wizards of the Coast makes a product that's a mass market product. 5e is intended to be as comforting and friendly to as broadest marketplace as you could possibly get. And that doesn't really leave a lot of room for anything that's adult, mature audience material, or things that are maybe more challenging or difficult in terms of mechanisms. So there are Pathfinder fans who are very concerned that Paizo's move in the direction of making 5e content could potentially cause the rest of the line to be less interesting and less of what they want. There are concerns about the hobby as a whole. There's concern that all these 5e third-party publishing products and established publishers making products for 5e is going to drive small publishers out of business. And a final concern is greed. A lot of tabletop RPG enthusiasts don't mind game companies making a profit, but they don't really want profit to be the driving force behind a company's production. They hope that principle, creativity, and good games are accompanied by profit, but profit isn't the driving point or purpose behind the reason they make a particular product. Is it a valid concern that small publishers are going to be driven toward making product for 5e and nothing else? And should we be concerned that there's going to be a major cash grab where there's going to be a bunch of new products coming on the line, that there's going to be a massive glut of 5e brand products because of the millions and millions of D&D fans out there? Will Paizo stop making Pathfinder products, and will they stop publishing their Pathfinder game? I really don't see that happening. I think what possibly could be happening is that Paizo is looking to steal away some 5e D&D enthusiasts. There are many people who are not really happy about the direction that Wizards of the Coast has taken their new product lines, Strixhaven. The Cubicle 7 thing is a little bit more odd to me. I understand that they will probably make a pretty good bit of revenue by selling a Doctor Who game using 5e, because there are just a lot of people who, because they're used to a particular game mechanic system, will go and play in a different setting or context using that same system because they're familiar with it, even if that system is not particularly suited to the contextual framework of the genre that the game is being ported into. So in the short term, Cubicle 7 is likely to make a little bit of money, but are they going to bring those 5e players into their ecosystem to play their own game system? I kind of doubt it. I think those would be transitory kind of players. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. It might work, it might not. Will this move into 5e mechanics water down the content? Will it make things maybe less challenging or less complicated or less interesting or damage the feel of those products? Concerns about the hobby as a whole are a little silly. Print on demand, digital distribution, Kickstarter, Patreon, social media, Discord, virtual tabletops. These are all ways for small publishers to find customers who want something different than 5th edition D&D. Even though the market for 5th edition is huge, it is massive. It's almost like it's two different hobbies. There are the people who play 5th edition, and that's all they play. And then there are people who play lots of other tabletop RPGs, but don't play 5th edition. And these two groups of people are probably not going to overlap too much. So even if your small publisher produces 5th edition product and still produces their own product through their own IPs and their own systems, those overlapping audiences are probably not going to interact too much, and there's just probably not going to be too much concern about how 5e is going to destroy this little tiny sliver of the market. Small business publishers who find an audience and they continue to serve that audience will be fine as long as they manage their businesses effectively. I don't think the problem is going to be their content. I think the problem for those little businesses could be things like shipping costs, labor costs, getting material because there have been paper shortages and shipping and those sorts of problems. They're just not an issue that's caused by 5th edition. It's just an overstatement of a problem that doesn't really exist. Greed. This is the big one. Cries of selling out and cash grab resound from some corners of the internet. You see it on Twitter, you see it on EN World, you see it on Reddit, and some publishers are going to go where the money is. That's just the reality of it. The game publishing business is a business, and they need to pay for their employees, their freelance designers, their artists, and make a profit on the back end, and pay their own bills. There are certain circumstances where making a 5e product just makes sense for a business. And the main area where that makes sense is if your audience has an overlap or is the same people that Wizards of the Coast is targeting for their product. If you're targeting 15 to 30-year-olds who like Critical Role or Beetle and Grimm's and watch certain types of television shows and watch certain types of film and play certain types of video games that are the same people that play 5th edition D&D, then it's a no-brainer to make a 5th edition D&D product. But if you're talking to people that are over 40, if you're talking to people who are into Mork Borg, or you're talking to people who play Apocalypse World, making a 5th edition product makes no sense whatsoever and would be clearly a money grab, would be clearly selling out, and the people who make a Mork Borg game and then make a 5th edition version of a Mork Borg adventure or something like that are going to lose their Mork Borg audience. If you make a Powered by the Apocalypse game and then make a 5th edition D&D version of your Powered by the Apocalypse game, you're going to lose some audience from your Apocalypse World people because they're just going to go, nah, I'm not interested in you anymore. Should you be concerned when your favorite game company makes a 5th edition compatible product? Well, that depends. Are they abandoning what you love about their products? Are they still making stuff that you like? Does this choice conflict with the reputation and the values that the publisher expresses in their writings, in their marketing material, and in their conversation with their fans? The thing I would suggest is to be patient. Wait and see. Take a step back. This might turn out to be a really good thing for your favorite game company to do. It might fall flat on its face. There's no guarantees about these sort of things. Sometimes you have to try something to see if it's going to work. You can guess that it might work, but you don't really know. If you have trust and confidence in the people that run your favorite game companies and they decide that they need to or want to make a product for 5th edition D&D, then wait and see what happens. Maybe ask them. Maybe send them an email or make a comment on Twitter like, hey, I don't really understand what's going on here. I wish you the best, but could you maybe explain what's going on? Don't jump to conclusions. There's a lot of that. I mean, it is the internet. It is Twitter. An awful lot of the social media is about being negative and angry and cranky to draw attention. But before you do that, maybe take a moment to think about what the needs of your favorite game company are and how they're trying to serve you, and see if maybe there's a good reason behind why they're making a 5e product, and that it's not all gloom and doom, and that you could relax and still enjoy your favorite game. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon.